he's kind of breaking the demo with how fast he is. Is he going to win? Surely not, right? Oh my god. Playing online versus offline. Yeah, actually I'm right here. What's popular YouTube? Another day, another demo, and finally, it's so refreshing to be able to do a Jackinho demo on this channel. We've never done one before. It's been a really horrible year for FNATIC. A slow crawl down into the top 30, into a fall off the waterfall, fall off Niagara Falls in a barrel, tumble all the way down to rank number 62 in the world. Wow. How far we have fallen. And FNATIC, in light of this, have decided to take a new approach to the team. FNATIC have gone international with the addition of Alex and Mezzi. Mezzi we've done a demo on this channel back before he joined onto Cloud9, the boy who came from Endpoint, and is someone who I think will be a great addition to the team. And in the tier 2 at the moment with the teams that he's been playing on, some very decent teams here. He's been cleaning up. Look at these ratings. He's learned a thing or two on Cloud9. So looking forward to that. Alex as an IGL, I think he could have done a better job on Cloud9, but at the same time, at first, I think the team looked really good. As an individual, I think he actually is a sick player. Very tricky, very smart. Not like the sickest aim or anything, but positionally very crafty. I think he's a very smart player. So, ironically enough, I'm looking forward more to Alex as a player than I am as an IGL. But still, I mean, Golden wasn't doing a great job as an IGL because as good as I've heard Golden is as an IGL, when you watch the FNATIC games, you couldn't see it. None of what he could offer was being applied. So if Golden is a good IGL, which I'm sure he could be, it's probably going to be with another team. Maybe a team that wants to offer themselves up to a bit more structure, but the FNATIC team, no. So the one player they've got left, from the original FNATIC roster is Crims. And he as well, it has been a rock for the team and has just been a rock of a player. And I mean, his head is shaped like a rock. He looks like the Rock. He's literally the Swedish Rock. This guy, he's just consistent, sight anchor that's getting a bit older, but has played on a team that's not done so well. I don't think people have huge questions about what he can output for FNATIC when the team is going to be playing with a new lineup. I think this is kind of exactly what you want. Probably the best player left from the original lineup or the old lineup, besides maybe Flusha, who's on another team. Things aren't going so well over there. Crims makes a lot of sense. Brolin, unquestionable. And then Jackinho, the guy that we're going to talk about today, who, when I'm looking at some of these stats, we have to understand, okay, FNATIC have gone through a lot recently, so the stats aren't going to be incredibly pretty for everybody. But actually, when we look at a lot of the games here, there's, for some reason, so many random teams that he's played on that are sprinkled in. It shows, I don't know what this is. But if we take, we remove some of these games and we look at some of the big matches that he's played in versus strong teams, he's had some very good series. And the games that I've watched personally on the eye test, when I've watched Jackinho play, I thought he was sick, actually. So the funny part is about the JW removal is that everybody said, well, you need somebody to replace JW with. Let's get another awper. What about Kenny S? What about Knock, for example? But the truth is they have an awper. They never needed JW once they removed him. If Jackinho replaced JW in his role by replacing a different player and made JW redundant on the team, and wasn't having that much impact, there's no need for them to find a new awper. What they need is for Jackinho to continue to improve, and then for Alex and Mezzi to make the team as a whole better, so that they win more, so everyone's stats go up, and then we can really see if he's actually cut from the right cloth, or if Jackinho himself should be replaced by a player, like Knock or Kenny S come back, or some other player now that they're in international lineup. So we're here watching this game versus Complexity for two reasons. One, I wanted to watch this game because I just randomly had a craving to watch a Mirage game. And this is actually a T-side that we're going to look at because he had a very good T-side. 16 and 9. And this is also a game where they struggled to win all of their rounds. And they didn't win the game as a whole. But they had a positive T half in general in the first half. Wait, how could this be the first half? Oh, sorry. They win 8 rounds in the... They win 8 rounds in their T-side, but they still lose the game. Jackinho has a super strong impact here, despite losing, so there's going to be some impact rounds. But what I want to do with this game is watch T-side Mirage, because it's what's anchoring this demo is that T-side Mirage first of all, Mirage is the most played map on Faceit. It's the most played map in the world. It's the new Dust 2. It's the battleground of the pug queues. It's a map that everyone hates but doesn't ban. But it's also the map that, even though everyone on Mirage is better on Mirage than they are on every other map, a lot of people still don't understand how to play T-side. And it's a really important thing to be able to understand how to win in a default on T-side, what it means to like be overextending on T-side, how to keep the round moving along. And so hopefully we watch this Jackinho demo. I can just talk about it from a pug perspective of just what it means to take map control and to, move around along on the T side of Mirage, which is just a very important thing to be able to do. When we're playing a lot of the Boxer 10-mans, for example, where the skill levels are all over the place, everyone is definitely better on Mirage, but sometimes you hop on the T side and people are very confused about how to stay together. T-side's already hard. It's the scaling, I think, that's the real difficult thing. So we'll talk about that. But I want to use this demo to maybe basically talk about the map on a very fundamental level as opposed to a very high level like you would do normally from a demo. So why don't we hop into the game so we can talk about the T-side of Mirage. And, oh my god, that was so loud. Talk about the T-side of Mirage. Talk about the T-side of Mirage here. Okay. Oh, wait. Is it going to be this? Hold on. Oh, yeah. It's going to be the second half, right? Okay. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Wait. Wait. It's not quite as... No, there's not. No, the vibes aren't immaculate anymore at 11-4. But the most dangerous lead in the world, 11-4, apparently. So let's find out why. Right away, we're talking about a Halls pop here. So sometimes the strat is I think this is the fall in, like the SK execute. So I call this strat as well sometimes. Basically, you can use this to do a couple of things. Sometimes the smoke can be anywhere, but you could smoke CT, flash over, and then have 3 people jump out. The idea is the bomb is close to the bomb plant zone. So what's really important is getting out, clearing under balk, and getting across the site. You can jump on default and look under balk. You can run across the balcony, drop off, and clear under balk. And you can also jump out to firebox. So we're going to see them split up, I'm sure. So when we pay attention to this is what you should think about when you're exploding onto a site. Okay? But in all situations, the underbalk needs to be cleared first to somebody watching something else, and you explode this way. The idea is not to go and clear every single thing that your teammate clears. It's to clear a bunch of things at the same time and use the fact that you're exploding with multiple players. And then, of course, as we know, post-plant, simply getting to the best post-plant positions, which are also, as a hint, the best retake positions are also the best post-plant positions, if you can get control of them, very often. So, like, A ramp might be a very strong post-plant position, so it's also a very great retake position, because that's where you think the T's will be. So you try to put yourself in that mindset if you can't think of where to go. Instead of just sitting, get Tetris, as soon as the bomb goes down, you plan a default. Okay, try not to do that. And then you can have a better idea of how to play the post plants. Half the game of getting out onto the A side in these post plants On Mirage, excuse me, half the game is winning these post-plant situations with A site, right? So at a Mirage default, typically you have one guy towards A. You can have two, but sometimes that one guy is just figuring out what he thinks the other team is going to do. So if he thinks that they complexly like to clear at A ramp, he might sit up on top of A ramp. If he thinks that Poison is going to pick in a palace or something, he might go up here to listen for a scope. But he's going to pick. Sometimes you sit in spawn, sometimes you go A ramp, sometimes you go palace. So here's mid control on the default. And I don't know if they just threw that and missed that molly or what happened. If that was a CT, I wasn't paying attention. And here's what it means to make a progress. So a big thing about what FNATIC are doing right now is simply going up without the same nades you would throw to get full control. So the reason that they're just walking in is because usually if you take mid and you get into connector, it's one of the most contested spots in the whole map. So if you have, if the CTs have any mid presence, then it's very dangerous to do this because you could have a player on CAD or player connector. So they have a huge read here. Now they're at risk of getting P triple, ticket, default, and CAD as well. So it's still very scary for them. But at the same time, the CTs might not be ready for the fact they've got this far up. And it looks like it gets spotted inside of this. So, ooh, a great shot from Jackinho. And this is what opens things up, okay? So this is also applies to your pugs and stuff like that. This is a progress to scale properly. Sorry, I'm pausing a lot, but I'm using this demo to be more instructive than anything else. It's already really good. So when you're getting across the site here, so now you saw the entry pathing when you're coming out of Palace on the T side, coming into the site, jumping out, exploding, clearing different things. When you're doing it from connector, the goal is you get your kill, ideally. And then if you get your kill, ideally, you get jungle smoked, and you try to cross towards CT. So where Jackinho is, to cross all the way to where the X is, where Poison was, and then clear into CT. And once you do that, now you can just envelop the site completely. And you're going to see him going, across from triple. And in this same way, you get to clear Tetris, you get to clear Sandwich, and you have favorable fights during all of those moments. And you never have to watch your back because you have the wall behind you the entire time. So that's the idea when you get up into connector control. You're trying to get across the A site. The proper protocol is to flash CT spawn. Usually you want to pair that flash with the moment they're going to turn the corner. And ideally, the player who's going across gets across the triple. The flash pops, they clear CT spawn. On their way there, they clear Sandwich, they clear Tetris. Okay, so for the future, again, in your pugs, this is the idea. So a reason why I knew this would be a good... Oh, that was a nice shot from Jackinho. Wow. A reason I knew this would be a good demo to watch just for the fundamentals and stuff, because FNATIC are a team who are going to... They're gonna default, and then they're gonna throw in some spice here or there. You know what I mean? With like the kinds of plays they make. And I honestly haven't watched a lot of FNATIC games, so I don't know what they've been doing recently. But that's obviously the brand of FNATIC overall. He's had a couple of great shots already, like insane shots. Ooh, it's unfortunate. Showed himself. Then he doesn't need to die there. Actually, like even if Poison has a deep angle from connector, he doesn't have to take that many steps to get the run boost off. So it's just Poison has a super deep angle. He's not expecting to die holding that position. But it's a very good punish from Poison, just straight up. So, all right. This is also good. So just like Dust 2, imagine this is Dust 2 and Brolin's top mid, right? Like green box, like left side top mid or something. The exact same idea. So he's trying to punish rotations for anybody coming up cat. And the entire time that Brolin exists here, the two teammates on the site can know and can play with the understanding that no one will come up cat without Brolin telling them. So even though Brolin is very far from the action, the two teammates on the site, they can stand in the window, expose themselves to cat. They can stand behind default and expose themselves to cat. They can take fights now towards the market watching the flank that they couldn't do if Brolin didn't exist right here. So this is the idea with, why you might have someone here to try to punish rotations and what needs to happen to make this worthwhile. So even with Brolin dying here, because BlameF dies in connector, they know exactly how much time they have before they have to worry about the threat of somebody, coming up. But even with this info, they change their setup immediately, right? So you can see how the angles totally change the way that they played the round. And Golden just decides to get into his new position nice and early and then take his fights this way. And now he's aware of Cat. But even because Blame F got that kill, he suddenly is discouraged from even trying to go up on Cat. And this really not even high-level stuff, right? This stuff you should think about when you're playing your regular games. What positions people feel like are open to them based on who you got a kill from. That's how you can cut down some of the angles that you have to look at when you go in for a retake. And we'll see what FNATIC are doing now, walking all the way back from mid as a pack. They lost one player. I don't know where it happened. This is already a losing situation, but it's not too bad. Like, with a full A exec, it can have the same efficacy as a 5-player hit because you don't need 5 players to take a site. What you're really missing out on is the extra edge in the post plant usually. And obviously, there's more emphasis on the opening kill here coming into the site. So these flashes, one over Palace, and then one over the ramp as well. Both are important for different positions on the site. And they actually trade out very, very effectively. I don't know if they're flashing Crims into this or if he's just going to phase it. But at this point, yeah, this is where the bomb basically just needs to get planted. A ramp flank comes out. Wow, Poison. How in the world did he get there? Okay. Don't even know how that's possible. They walked all the way back. Poison walked right behind them. Okay, so they go through with more FNATIC-esque play. Screaming up the A ramp. They have a bit of a support system there, which is great. I think FNATIC at their worst, when I watched 1 or 2 games like in the middle of last year, it really felt like they were doing some crazy tactics, but they were just, you know, largely doing it untradeable ways, really just taking risks that didn't have that much upside and definitely cost them a lot of rounds. Too many mistakes in that regard. So it's cool to get a nice balance where, yeah, it's still a risky tactic, but at least we have, you know, some percentage chance to get traded, or because in terms of obviously the skill level of the FNATIC players in the previous lineup, like they're not going to be able to kick it with the best teams in the world. Like, you know, you can't play like FNATIC versus Gambit because literally none of the FNATIC players are better than any of the Gambit players on an individual level anymore. They just don't have that same fear aura like they used to, or like they would have on LAN. And that's another thing. If we can believe that, let's see if Jackinho actually wins this. Ooh. He's cool, bro. Jackinho is super fast. Like, we watched a few demos from awpers. I mean, when I watched we watched the Monacy demo a couple weeks ago. Gotta say that was, you know, one of the fastest awpers that we've seen. Jackinho is also super fast. I mean, he's actually breaking the demo a little bit with how fast these shots are. Yeah, I never really understood the rhetoric that they needed to get an awper to replace JW. They have a perfectly good one right here in Jackinho. And it makes sense to just get another strong rifler. And perhaps maybe someone who can be some kind of like hybrid IGL support, you know, extra rifler, whatever. They could really throw in anybody. But they don't actually need to replace JW, I think, to solve their problem. So I think what they did made a ton of sense with Mezzi and Alex. And I think their core, I really believe in it personally. So what are the odds that FNATIC break into the top 10 with this roster? I think, you know, that's probably pretty unlikely. But I do think that this is like one of their best possible chances. And then they can prove more than what other people can see. And I think that's part of what they can do. You know, from the outside, we still have to have metered expectations about what this lineup can put together. But we can say that Brolin has superstar potential, that Crims will be best in class for his role for sure, that Jackinho is a super promising awper with a lot of time to show what he can do, even though he might not be as good as someone like Brolin already or whatever. And that same deal for Mezzi. And, you know, even if Alex is a little bit of a question mark, he's still been in IGL for top teams, lots of experience, and also, you know, how many more things is Alex going to try to do? We've already seen him stop playing. We've already seen, you know, Cloud9 fail. So this should be a big opportunity in that sense, and should be looked at as kind of a very special chance. And also want to revive a huge brand in the game. Like, yeah, they rebranded their logo, and now they look like a bag of Cheetos. But it's still FNATIC that we remember from a long time ago. And I think for a lot of people, that's true. That this name brand holds a lot of weight, carries a lot of weight. And it looks like they're more concerned about any kind of close A ramp push over anything else. So I think that's an interesting flash. So I think a big thing is on Mirage is knowing when to go slow and when to go fast. I think that's when people get confused. And when it looks really ugly is when people don't understand, like, when you're getting things done but you're going slowly, or when you need to go fast but you're going too slowly. And that stuff will come with experience. It's hard to learn. But here are some good examples of, like, how to, you know, bring out that aggression. Like, this must have been a very surprising attack, actually. I kind of like this from FNATIC. They had the tactic with Jackinho throwing a late flash over the A ramp with a walkout. That looked like a play you make at the beginning of a round where Golden is running out A ramp, but it's in the middle of a round, the middle of a late round smoke, and it's with a flash to boot. So you're not just scrimming up A. So I think that actually looks quite good. And that's an actual attempt to mess with your internal timing of, like, when you expect aggression to come. Like, who's going to be ready to dodge a flash flying over A ramp at that specific timing with no other nades, only one player coming up, and your smoke almost fading on the A ramp. It's a really good timing, by the way, when CTs throw smokes to go out right at the end of the smoke, but not when it's completely up, because that's when CTs will think about refreshing the smoke or reassessing how they're going to approach something. So you're going to come with a flash timing. Sometimes it's best to do it, you know, right there, right before a smoke's ending. This is how you can pick the cross as an opening. And another thing about Mirage is, yeah, it can be as easy as scrimming up a ramp every once in a while. But there's also lots of other ways to open up the rounds relatively safely. And that boost is a super simple way to do it. So your opera says, boost me a ramp. That's the one you do. And you can have him try to punish the cross towards ticket. So, like, Poison might run across A if he's going for an opening play towards connector. And you can just punish him there. Sometimes it's actually good to go A ramp and just throw a nade on the cross. Like, right away. Don't even try to go for the kill. Just get, like, 40 damage off. When we see Jackinho wait for the flash timing from JKS. This is... Complexity looked super legible there. That was very easy for Jackinho. He wasn't exposing himself too much. I'm actually surprised that FNATIC lose this game. They look much more confident. Wow, I don't even know where Rush was standing. Oh, he's under Balk. A huge round from Rush. Well, he wiped them all out. Okay. That was a solid round from FNATIC up until that moment. But yeah, Complexity, CT side Mirage, obviously very good. Sometimes, yeah, JKS is a force on A, Config is a force on Cat, and Poison is a great opera as well. Just a bit inconsistent, the whole team. This is something people do a lot less. Try to pick between the Idus in pugs more often, but, you know, people are less likely to peek the side of stairs in the middle of, like, you know, after the first couple of seconds of the round when they're crossing, or peek the top of stairs when there's the... You don't really peek the top of stairs to peek a ramp as much, and the reason is because of Palace. If there's any chance that someone could come up peek a Palace, you don't want to be the guy peeking stairs and dying that way. And now they're working on a split. All they have to do is get the kill here. Oh, no trade. See, that's a moment where, like, the trade is everything. Because the trade right there, it's 4v4. Then you have a cat split. You know where the cat player is. And these two players in halls can just run up. But now, we don't know where that cat guy's gone to. Their config, you know, he ends up going down. And it all comes down to Jackinho. But this could have been a much higher odd situation. But saw Jackinho hit a couple of great shots already. Let's see what he... Oh my god. What? Dude, he's really fast. I mean, I feel like I don't want to say that too often because of the amount of demos we watch, but, like, he's kind of breaking the demo with how fast he is. Is he going to win? Surely not, right? Oh my god, that's so close. He's really fast. I'm actually... I didn't even... That wasn't even something I thought about when I was going to watch this demo. I was like, oh, he's just a really solid player from what I've seen in his games. But there's got to be like a speed list for the awpers that we watch on this channel, because I gotta say, yeah, he's you're like not even seeing his flicks sometimes. The Swedish junior, both styling, of course. It just has everything to do with the hair. And no way we almost win this round. All right, let's see how he plays it. Okay. Just goes bowling with config. A Glock and 24 HP. This is going to take some creativity. I feel like I remember watching this round and James Bardolph was casting it. And this was actually a moment where he got an op. He came... Oh my god, I remember watching this round. He comes back, the smoke goes down, and he's this close to hitting it. If I'm not mistaken, this was at flashpoint. He was actually so close to being able to win it. That shot was very, very close to where he planted the bomb, and he planted open for himself, too. It was a nice try. At first, that play looked ridiculous, and then he went to get the op, and you're like, whoa. He's back. Pepe cry. And then he, it doesn't win the round. But okay, this is another important part about entering on Mirage, is your op in B-apps. So one of the freest, easiest, most powerful lines that you can have is putting your op in this jail cell window and opping the market and just holding that line, because the rotations are coming through market and your teammates are just flooding out of the are flooding out beside you. Your goal is not necessarily to help trade Get Right or help trade CAD or trade anyone on the site. Instead, you send your pawns out in front of you to go and do that. And if they can't do that, you're probably going to lose. But what you're supposed to do is cut the other three players that aren't there, the majority of the team, off at the pass and off that market window. So he gets that first kill. And that is Rush, who is normally the site anchor as well. So now he keeps his eyes on other things. But yeah, this is I guess JKS rotating fast in from the market. I guess there's a moment where, yeah, if he just cut off that line, then he could have possibly had that kill as well. But when you do this, you're relying on your, three rifling teammates to be able to trade out effectively on the site, and then you just cut the rotations off, and then there's just no retake. And if you get the two guys on site 1-for-1, and then Jackinho gets a third kill on the market, there is no retake. It's not going to happen. People do not retake 2v3 on B on Mirage anymore. People don't even do 3v3 on Mirage B anymore. We're at a point in CS where really, if you have a successful site take, you're going to pretty much win the round, because they're not even going to try to play it. And this actually is the end of the game because FNATIC lost. But you know what? That wasn't actually a bad half from FNATIC, all things considered. And you saw Jackinho was a huge reason why they won any of the rounds they did. That was a super instructive demo. I actually like that a lot. And if that doesn't increase your appreciation for Jackinho and understanding that FNATIC don't need another opera to pick up and they could pick up anybody, the Mezzi actually makes a lot of sense. I don't know what will. He looked very fast. He's on a top list now for me, mentally, for fastest operas that I've watched, especially in these demos. No X-ray on, so that's when you can really feel how fast it is. And I hope we learned something about the T side of Mirage 2. To like, comment, subscribe. See you next time.